The July 2025 America's AI Action Plan frames artificial intelligence as a physical industrial challenge, shifting federal focus toward the material requirements of the technology. This strategy moves away from software oversight, directing federal agencies to facilitate a massive expansion of domestic data centers and power generation. The policy operates through three distinct pillars: innovation, infrastructure, and diplomacy and security. The first pillar targets the removal of domestic research regulations, while mandating ideological neutrality in federal AI procurement. The second addresses the energy grid, prioritizing the rapid expansion of national power capacity and the restoration of American semiconductor fabrication. The third focuses on the geopolitical landscape, using export controls to create a hardware perimeter against foreign adversaries. Together, these pillars structure a strategy where the federal government treats physical computing capacity as the primary lever for global competition. The plan immediately repeals Executive Order 14110. In its place, the Office of Management and Budget is directed to identify and eliminate federal rules that hinder the development of AI. This deregulation explicitly supports the open source and open weight ecosystem, allowing researchers to download and modify models to prevent a small group of tech companies from controlling the market. To increase the speed of adoption, agencies like the FDA and SEC are instructed to establish regulatory sandboxes. These zones allow corporations to test AI tools without standard compliance delays. The plan also attempts to stabilize the hardware market for smaller developers. By expanding the National AI Research Resource Pilot, the government aims to build spot markets for compute, ensuring startups have affordable access to processing power. Federal procurement guidelines will also be restricted. The government will now only contract with developers who can demonstrate their frontier models are objective and free from top-down ideological bias. Consequently, the Department of Commerce is directed to revise the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, removing references to diversity, equity, and inclusion, climate change, and misinformation. This strategy prioritizes speed over cautious oversight, assuming that an unencumbered private sector will out-innovate research conducted in more controlled environments. However, software development is limited by a physical ceiling. AI scaling is bounded by the availability of baseload energy generation and the land required for data centers. This chart tracks U.S. power generation capacity against computational demand. While compute requirements are rising exponentially, American energy capacity has remained largely flat since the 1970s. Navigating the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, often traps new infrastructure projects in years of compliance reviews, slowing the response to this energy gap. To accelerate construction, the plan establishes categorical exclusions. These classify data centers as having no significant environmental effect, skipping standard reviews. The administration also applies the FAST-41 expedited review to energy and semiconductor facilities to further shorten the timeline. To secure the necessary space, agencies with large real estate portfolios are directed to open federal lands for private data center construction and new power generation. These infrastructure buildouts support military operations and intelligence gathering in addition to commercial applications. Specifically, the Department of Defense is mandated to build high-security, classified data centers. These facilities are designed to be physically isolated from nation-state cyber interference. By reclassifying commercial power grids and server farms as vital national security assets, the federal government is suspending traditional environmental guardrails to ensure these facilities are built in the United States. The final component of the strategy addresses the international landscape, establishing a technological perimeter between the U.S. ecosystem and foreign adversaries. The state and commerce departments will export full-stack AI packages, integrated hardware, software, and models to allied nations. This locks partners into American architecture, preventing foreign dependencies, while adversaries face refined blockades that close loopholes in semiconductor export controls. Commerce is shifting focus from major machines to the granular subsystems and individual components required to keep foreign semiconductor plants running. Advanced chips will also include embedded location verification features, preventing their diversion to restricted countries. To ensure global alignment, the administration will apply secondary tariffs and the Foreign Direct Product Rule against any allied nation that backfills restricted technologies to adversaries. Furthermore, the intelligence community must evaluate foreign frontier models for potential cyber threats and alignment with authoritarian censorship agendas. By controlling critical hardware subsystems, the United States uses its position in the supply chain to enforce global geopolitical compliance. However, the rapid acceleration of open-source AI creates a point of friction. It democratizes access to highly advanced capabilities. The action plan acknowledges that frontier AI systems pose risks related to chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear materials. Of particular concern is the potential for advanced AI to provide the blueprints needed to synthesize novel, harmful pathogens. To address this, the policy mandates that any federally funded research institution must use nucleic acid synthesis providers that enforce strict sequence screening and customer verification. The Office of Science and Technology Policy will also establish a data sharing mechanism for synthesis providers to screen for fraudulent actors across the industry. This rigorous tracking of biological research stands apart from the plan's general push to remove software regulations and promote open-weight models. The administration is attempting to maximize the economic potential of open-source code while preventing the democratization of biological weapon capabilities. This viability dashboard tracks the interactions between the three pillars, weighing the impact of deregulation and permitting against global export controls. The plan's success depends on these categorical exclusions. If the environmental reviews are not bypassed to build data centers, the infrastructure cannot scale. These directives originate from the executive level, prioritizing unquestioned American technological dominance. The administration has argued that standard bureaucratic oversight would paralyze this technology, allowing international competitors to take the lead. The strategy is built on the belief that radical infrastructure deregulation, ideological neutrality, and hardware blockades will secure long-term dominance. The federal government is officially prioritizing physical infrastructure buildouts over the regulation of software models. The action plan concludes that the nation that constructs the largest physical computing ecosystem will dictate the geopolitical reality of the 21st century. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the AI Action Plan.